After ranking the Premier League stadiums a while back, there were very few death threats as a result. So we have returned to England land to rank their second tier stadiums. Here are the Championship stadiums ranked. Kenilworth Road. Kenilworth is actually an appropriate name for this place because it's a building worthy of being a kennel. Okay, that's a bit harsh. But it's a little around the edges. Once inside, it's not too bad, maybe a little cramped, but at least it has its own unique charm. The other 23 are just better. The Den. This stadium was somewhat ahead of its time when it was built, but we are no longer living in the 80s. However, even worse is the fact that it's exactly the same on every side. It's just not my cup of tea. But I don't want to be too hard on Millwall supporters. I know they like to say everybody hates us but we don't care, but just remember, even the most hated entities in the world still have North Korea, Syria, Belarus and the like on their side. And you're nowhere near as hated as them. Bet365 Stadium. I know this ground deserves to be a lot higher, but I really don't like to see a stadium named after a betting company. It's just as bad as those celebrities that sell out and appear in those betting ads, becoming the conduit to thousands of people's addiction in the process. Samuel L. Jackson, Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Wahlberg. I believe SpongeBob may have done a Ladbrokes ad a few years back. The club is owned by them though, so it's not going to be changing anytime soon. DW Stadium. I assume that DW stands for Donners of Wigan, because I believe Wigan is known for its kebabs. Unlike Doner Kebabs, this place is looking pretty clean, featuring a nice brick exterior with metallic hits. I do also like the slightly arched roofs, which gives it a slightly arched roof look. Just like the Den though, it's pretty much exactly the same on all sides, a bit boring in that respect. Ewood Park. Well yeah, Ewood Park, but he doesn't have a car. It broke down. Yeah, it's probably those 4,000 potholes in Blackburn, Lancashire. Remember to cut that bit, that was This is like a straight edge version of DW Stadium, but I think this is slightly better. Perhaps simply for the fact that the Riverside stand offers a bit of variety, even if it is like 15 metres from the pitch for some reason. Coventry Building Society Arena. We've seen an attached hotel, but this one has an attached convention centre, or exhibition hall, whatever you want to call it. It's occasionally used for netball, so if you like basketball but think it's a bit too exciting, this place has got you covered. The interior is nice enough, there's a sizable video board, but the stadium is owned by a rugby club, which disrupts the natural order of football supremacy in England. Loftus Road. This place might be a little squozen and cramped, but what can I say? I just like it. The spectators, particularly those in the upper decks, are right on top of the action, which makes the ground's nickname of the Loft especially appropriate. There are some obstructed views however. I mean, this is the view from the southwestern corner, so yeah, I can't put it any higher. Riverside Stadium. Credit where credit's due. It is what it says on the tin, a stadium on the side of a river. So bonus points for that, I suppose. The exterior is kinda nice, but on the inside it's just a little plain and simple for me. Some people might like that. In fact, I think most people would have put this former Premier League stadium a lot higher. Select Car Leasing Stadium. Although it's nothing special on the outside, I do kinda like that metallic exterior. And the attached hotel would be quite convenient for away supporters, I suppose. The interior is not quite as straightforward as you'd expect. The double-tiered western stand with its thin stripe of red seating in the middle looks great. Bloomfield Road. Last time I mentioned this ground, I called the seats orange, and I've never heard the end of it. Yes, I should have said tangerine, but tangerine is a shade of orange, so chill. Oranges are better than tangerines anyway. It is a decent stadium, it probably deserves to be a few places higher, but until this war of words with the Tangerine Army is resolved, I just can't. Swansea.com Stadium. I criticised the gambling ad earlier, so I suppose I should point out that Swansea.com tries to encourage you to visit Swansea, and visiting Swansea is gambling with your life. It's the most dangerous city in West Glamorgan. Think of all the West Glamorgan cities that you know, and this is number one. Scary stuff. Anyway, a black and white colour scheme never gets old. This one looks especially good. Vicarage Road. It is a bit of an odd looking stadium on the outside, but the interior looks pretty good. Interestingly, it has a stand named after Elton John, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, he's a popular musician, sure, but Rocket Man? Benny and the Jets? We only have one planet, mate. Why not just open a carbon dioxide factory while you're at it? Elton John? If that's your real name? I don't think it is it? Carrow Road is not much of a looker from the outside, but much like people and grandfather clocks, it's what's inside that counts. The interior shares some similarities with Vicarage Road, but I do prefer that green and yellow colour scheme, which is as rare as canary's teeth. This too has an attached hotel in the corner there. You can even get a room with a view of the pitch. Turf Moor is your classic British football stadium, with the stands mostly being built at separate times in different styles, giving the stadium a bit of character. And actually, with those claret and blue seats, you could call Turf Moor the poor man's Villa Park. Although a poor man that owns a stadium is a bit of a paradox. Cardiff City Stadium. We have our first entry from across the channel in Wales. Before they added this extension, it would have been further down the list for sure, but I love the contrast of red added to what was a previously all-blue stadium. Even on the outside it's red. I appreciate that attention to detail. Other than that though, it's your standard modern bowl stadium. The Premier League had St Mary's Stadium, the Championship has St Andrew's Stadium. I see the one Jesus dude per division quota is still in place. St Andrews is certainly an interesting stadium, made up of a wide variety of stands, including the old school main stand with its brick exterior, and the unusually proportioned double-tiered railway stand that sits above the thing that trains roll on. Ashton Gate. Where I'm from, a gate is like a door for outdoors, but I like the English version of a gate a lot more, to be honest. I particularly like the main stand, which, as you can see, is about twice the size of the rest of the stadium. And that's one of the many reasons Ashton Gate is colloquially known as the Mornflake Stadium of the Southwest, and I don't think you could bestow a higher honour. Perched above the River Wear is Stadium of Light, the biggest stadium in the league. It's kinda like an extended version of Riverside Stadium, but it gets bonus points for the "How are the lads?" there on the seats, that embraces the local lingo. I believe the Australian equivalent would be "Can the I said cobbers, but yes, that other word would be acceptable. Anyway, decent stadium. New York Stadium. You might expect me to make some cheap joke about New York City, but come on, I'm above that. The thing I really love about this stadium is that it's a concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. In terms of features, well, for one, these seats will make you feel brand new. These floodlights will inspire you. But yeah, even if it isn't all it seems, it's got a roof held up by beams. MKM Stadium. This sleek, stylish and asymmetrical stadium is one of the better examples of a modern bowl style ground in the league. The exterior might be a little boring and uninspiring, but I think that's outweighed by the fact that once inside, it's absolutely stunning. Like I said, black and white seats always look good, but with the addition of a little bit of amber, it looks even better. Bramall Lane. It might not get top spot, but it's certainly my favourite test cricket ground in the league. Although nowadays the boundaries are a little small, but that is counteracted by the pitch being an absolute bowler's paradise. It has come a long way since 1902, but some features, like this quaint little gable up on the roof of the John Street stand, are a reminder of the past that I can appreciate. Deepdale Stadium. Before I even started making this video, I knew this one would be top 3. Stadio Luigi Ferraris is my favourite stadium in Italy, and this is just the Tin Man's interpretation of that design. The interior is almost as interesting, particularly the depictions of club legends there on the seats. It's incredible that a recognisable face can be made with a relatively small number of different coloured seats. John Smith Stadium. John Smith has to be the most generic name in the Western world, but the stadium itself is one of a kind. Actually, I looked it up, and in Yorkshire, John is the second most popular first name, and Smith is the number 1 surname. David was number 1 in case you were wondering. Those bright blue curved roofs of differing proportions would be especially fitting in a coastal city, but even in the heart of the country it works. The icing on the cake is the nearby wooded hill, which makes for a nice backdrop. The Hawthorns. I like that name, it's mysterious. I don't see any small flowering shrubs anywhere, and yet the stadium is named for them. What could it mean? The reason this one ranks so highly is the way it perfectly combines older stands into newer stands to form a complete stadium that looks fantastic. You can still tell it wasn't all built at once, but it doesn't look mismatched like a lot of the older stadiums do. Character without the clutter. So there you have it. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, have a good one.